Let's take a look at a hamstring strain. In particular, this client has strained their lateral hamstring, so the biceps femoris. So where is it? That will help with our taping. It originates on the ischial tuberosity, that's the long head, so it crosses the hip, and the linea aspera on the femur itself, so that's the short head. They both insert down around the lateral aspect of the knee into the head of fibula. So in terms of action, it flexes the knee, also laterally rotates the knee, but only when it's bent, and finally is also involved in extension of the hip. Let's start by looking at the acute and early subacute phase. What is our intention? So twofold in terms of this taping. We're firstly going to look at inhibiting that hamstring. So just trying to get it to switch off, to desensitize, to lengthen while we get through that acute and early subacute phase. Other options we can look at here is if there's any local swelling, for example, or bruising, we could also add a fan cut lymphatic drainage type taping to help relieve those symptoms. So our overall goal here is to get the client desensitized so that they can start moving and we can start rehabilitation. Inhibition, so we're anchoring away from the midline of the body. So we anchor on that lateral aspect of the knee onto that hamstring tendon. Now, light amount of stretch on the tape and put the tissue on stretch. So I'm getting my client not just to be extended at the knee, she's also flexed at the hip and rotated away from me. Laying the ends of the tape down with no tension at all. So to recap, that's light tension on the tape and put the tissue on stretch. Next up, we also want to add some desensitization in the local area where the client is uncomfortable. So middle of the tape down, light amount of tension on the tape, leg on stretch again. Again, putting that straight over so we get that lift above the area and we get some desensitization. As we move into the subacute and remodeling phase, we want to change our taping approach to support that. A key goal in this phase is to help strengthen, reactivate and get that hamstring functional again. So we're going to do an activation type taping to that lateral hamstring. But depending on your overall treatment plan, there are lots of other tapings that might support that. For example, if we have an overactive hamstring due to lack of glute firing or sequence of firing, we might want to also add a glute activation. We're going to activate, so we're going to anchor that tape towards the origin, so up onto the hip in this case, or around the seat bone. We are then going to add a light amount of stretch to that tape and put the tissue on stretch. So I'm getting that client to flex at the hip and extend at the knee. Lay the ends down with no tension at all.